Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Former SEC chairman Jay Clayton wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, which, honestly, it's just absolutely infuriating to see this. Look, Clayton, and look, I don't mind people that are worth a lot of money. In fact, I like rich people because if somebody else could do it, I've always thought this since very young ages, if somebody else can do it, then I can do it too. Now, Clayton is, I don't know worth how much, certainly over $10 million. I know that because in that form that he signed, I highlighted in one of my videos the other day, in which I proved that he was aware of a company, Apollo Global, that on national television he said he'd never heard of until after he stopped working at the SEC because he ended up getting effectively a job there, so he's getting money from them, and so obviously the optics of that were bad, so he lied and said he wasn't even aware of them, and I proved that in a video. But anyway, in going through his publicly disclosed financial records, I was like, I wonder how much this guy's worth, so I started counting up some of the investments, and once it hit $10 million, I just stopped. And so look, I don't mind people being rich, not in the least. I don't like class warfare garbage. Those are stupid arguments. But what does bother me is him, after destroying wealth of individuals that were investing in crypto and crypto-related platforms before he did, him coming in and then filing against Ripple, actually harming XRP investors, because look, he could have made clear XRP itself, the nature of it existing, not a security. The SEC could have done that, and then they still could have gone after Ripple. That would have been much more agreeable, and he didn't do that though. And so harming XRP investors, but then exiting stage left, and now making who knows how much money from crypto endeavors. It's disgusting. And so here's the headline from something that he wrote in the Wall Street Journal: America's future depends on the blockchain. This came out just the other day. And so I'm not going to go through and read this article. You can kind of guess the type of stuff that he's praising. A lot of it is stuff that we agree with now. Where the hell was this, over the last several years or so? And even then, it's just there's no justification for what he did in harming XRP investors, he and the rest of the SEC. And so upon seeing this article written by Jay Clayton, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted it out and simply wrote, and this is funny, he wrote, "Siri, play Ironic by Alanis Morissette." Because he's just nothing but damaging to crypto until he's out in the public sector and can make a bunch of money off it. What a bunch of garbage. It's just endlessly offensive. And so rather than go through the article, I want to share with you some thoughts from attorney John Deaton. And here's what he had to say. Clayton's Wall Street Journal op-ed is simply unbelievable. Clayton's audacity is truly staggering. As you read his Wall Street Journal article, consider the following. Number one, Senator Mike Crapo wrote a letter to both the OCC and to Clayton while at the SEC seeking clarity regarding crypto payments. Senator Crapo stated that the different government agencies needed clear rules that do not stifle American innovation. Number two, weeks prior to the SEC enforcement action against Ripple, several U.S. congressmen wrote a letter to the SEC asking for regulatory clarity. Number three, the Washington Examiner publicized an investigative piece on the issue of the United States losing the blockchain technology war to China because of enormous uncertainty and because Clayton and the SEC refused to provide the necessary clarity. This article was published stating that cryptocurrency is at the forefront of not just finance, but even national security. That's what Clayton is claiming now, and he wrote that in parentheses. So pause, think about that. This is a national security issue, says former SEC Chair Jay Clayton. So what did he do over the last several years? He did everything he could to put up roadblocks, anything having to do with crypto, and he's even attacked the crypto sector, specifically, most notably, most famously, going after Ripple, harming XRP investors. It's disgusting. It's absolutely offensive. Number four, the article stated the U.S. intelligence community was raising concerns about the CCP influence over digital currency. So they're talking about China there. The article was concerned about the CCP's influence at the SEC under Clayton. So obviously, I'm sure many of you at this point are familiar with the Alibaba concerns, right? going for, because he had a hand in the IPO and all that jazz. Anyway, number 5, the director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, wrote a letter directed at Clayton in early November 2020, stating, quote, crypto and central bank digital currencies are all being drawn into a multi-front global competition, end quote. John continues. He wrote that the competition was, quote, against Beijing for leadership of the world's economy, end quote. And then John continues. Ratcliffe informed Clayton that industry leaders are worried that China was leaving the U.S. behind in the digital currency race. Ratcliffe pointed to concerns of the intelligence community over China's sway over digital currencies because more than half of the world's mining was located in China. He warned Clayton that the Chinese government had created its own state-controlled digital currency. Ratcliffe warned Clayton that China's state-controlled digital yuan would make it tough for the United States-based companies and innovators to compete. He offered to have intelligence officers brief Clayton on the issue. So pause. Clayton was warned that's because it's an actual issue. So like when he's talking about national security, we could debate the degree to which that's true and matters, but it is true. It's a factor, right? And he was warned on this, took no action, and then sought to harm United States-based companies in the world of crypto, specifically Ripple, of course, because that's the most egregious instance of him behaving the way he was behaving when he was SEC chair. But he was warned. And now he seems to, at least on the surface, have an opinion that's in line with what anyone in the XRP community would probably think. Of course these are concerns, but he pretended they weren't real and sought to harm the entire blockchain and crypto industry. It's completely repulsive. Who the hell is this guy? Bizarro Clayton? Like, I don't even understand this. John continues. Number 6, although Clayton is now writing an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal on the issue, he didn't even personally respond to the Ratcliffe letter regarding the same concern. Instead, an SEC spokesperson responded and said the following. Chairman Clayton is committed to restoring innovation in the digital assets and digital payment space consistent with U.S. investor protection and anti-money laundering laws, end quote. John continues, how familiar does that sound? It's as if Gary Gensler responded to the letter himself today. But why would Clayton and the SEC respond this way? Anti-money laundering? Really? This was an unusually generic response to claims that the SEC was helping China win the blockchain crypto revolution. Clayton's loyalty and patriotism was being questioned, and he had no comment. Also sound familiar? His integrity and ethics have recently been questioned, and he tells Becky Quick, who's with CNBC, I believe it's, CNBC, Andrew Sorkin, and then we got Joe Kernan with CNBC, and then Eleanor Terrett and Charles Gasparino, those last two, of course, with Fox Business Network. He was telling him, no comment. That's, quote, no comment. He claims he won't comment on pending litigation. No case prevents anyone from defending his honor. Yeah, which is a point that Jeremy Hogan brought up. I highlighted his tweet in one of my recent videos. He's like, really? No comment, Jay Clayton, when asked about all this stuff with Ripple and the potential conflicts of interest? He's like, no, I'm not going to comment. Not that he can't, but that he won't. He has no interest in defending himself. He's in the wrong, and he's a liar. He's an actual liar. John continues. The Washington Examiner found this letter by the nation's top spy chief to signal a push to convince Clayton and the SEC to make it easier for United States-owned crypto companies to compete against those based in and controlled by China. Ripple's general counsel, Stuart Alderati, was interviewed and discussed China's influence over digital currencies. He said, quote, the data doesn't lie. The vast majority of Bitcoin's network and infrastructure, chips, mining pools, and software are all located in China or created by Chinese companies, end quote. And he also said, this is Alderati again with Ripple, general counsel, this is not decentralization. The CCP, so talking about the Chinese there, wields absolute control in China. End quote. John continues. Ripple's general counsel remarks to the Examiner were extremely critical of Clayton. Alderati wrote in August 2020 that the Chinese government subsidizes the vast amounts of energy needed to fuel Bitcoin and Ethereum miners. end quote. He stated that 65% of Bitcoin mining is concentrated in China. And obviously we understand that things have changed since then. That's not the point. The point is acknowledging the degree to which there was an actual threat, specifically with China. Anyway, John continues. Ripple's general counsel publicly questioned whether the SEC and Clayton were really willing to allow China to win this new technological and economic Cold War and allow China to dictate important parts of a new global economic system. The Examiner's article concluded by taking a direct shot at Clayton. A senior intelligence officer told the Washington Examiner that, quote, competing with China is a serious enough challenge without U.S. regulators getting in the way, end quote. Clayton is now making the same argument, and he's got a little facepalm emoji for good reason. I'm kind of facepalming right now myself. What in the ever-loving hell is going on here? So why do you think Jay Clayton suddenly did a complete 180 out of nowhere? Might it be, now that he's no longer chairing the SEC, that he's making a bunch of money with private companies? Might that be the case? Might he be financially incentivized to have changed his mind after crapping all over investors? Might that be the case? I'll hazard a guess on that one. Yes. John continues. Number 7. Senator Tom Cotton sent Clayton a letter in July 2020 after he sent his first letter to Clayton in December 2018. In both letters, Senator Cotton addresses digital currencies to ensure U.S. companies, i.e. Ripple, have a chance to compete. Cotton's second letter included Director Ratcliffe and White House NSA O'Brien and criticized how, quote, so far the SEC has concluded that only Chinese-controlled Bitcoin and Ethereum can be considered non-securities, end quote, which is something that we've all been aware of, even though, since it was an official SEC decree, wink wink, now different people are in charge, and now there's an actual chance that even Bitcoin and Ethereum could be in trouble. More so Ethereum, but still, it could be, right? Anyway, John continues. Senator Cotton was making the same argument that Ripple and its executives were making for over 2 years prior to Cotton's letter. That argument was that the SEC provided clarity for only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but not XRP. Ripple's argument that the SEC was favoring China over the U.S. was made by Congress, the NSA, the media, and at least 2 U.S. senators, and they all were directing their criticisms to one agency and its chairman, Jay Clayton. Freaking asshat. I added that last part. John Deaton did not say asshat, just for the record. I am saying asshat. Which I don't normally say about anybody, but I have to tell you, when you destroy billions of dollars of wealth from everyday people, I'm going to go after you a little bit more. You know, like, you're an asshat. That's not okay. Number 8, from John Deaton now. Hester Peirce was also pleading with Clayton and her fellow commissioners to help foster innovation by adopting a safe harbor for innovators. Crypto Mom was calling for clarity and a safe harbor when Clayton had the 3 votes needed to enact it. Him, Hester, and Elad Roisman. Number 9, former SEC Chief Joseph Grunfest also pleaded with Clayton to do the right thing. Many are aware that Grunfest warned Clayton not to file the case against Ripple and XRP because of the foreseeable devastating consequences, but he warned Clayton about so much more. In addition to the billions in losses to innocent XRP holders, he wrote, quote, national security considerations are also at stake, end quote. Clayton now argues national security concerns related to a regulatory approach. Maybe he reread all those letters sent to him when he was chairman. Golf clap for Mr. Deaton. Absolutely nailing it and bringing the fire as usual. And it is true. There were two commissioners, Hester and Elad, and then 2 others, Crenshaw and Allison Heron-Lee, it's believed at least that the latter were the 2 were in favor of bringing the action. And so you have Jay Clayton sitting there. He's got the final decision on this. He can bring it or not bring it. He decided to bring it. He certainly did. Go after Ripple. And then he has the audacity to jump into the world of crypto, make a fortune on it, and then write a letter like this after harming XRP investors to the tune of billions of dollars? No, Mr. Clayton, here's a bag of eggplant emojis for you. Please enjoy them. In the facial region, if you would. Just enjoy those eggplant. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.